when you're in his position, there's a good armbar sequence that you can hit, and I'll show you from here first. But a lot of times when you get a guy playing in guard, you're gonna have the guys on top a lot of times that are pulling back on the top of the head, kind of like a tie clinch, and they're utilizing this. Unless they're like posting up here, a lot of times guys are gonna start trying to hook your head, or they're just gonna do like a little collar tie just to kind of pull your head up a little bit and keep you from, you know, they feel like it's a safe place to kind of keep their arm rather than keeping it on the chest. So when I'm in his position, I utilize this collar tie as a perfect opportunity to set up arm bars. And if you're a big armbar player, this is a nice armbar sequence that you can hit if you're really committed to getting it. Anytime that the guy reaches for a collar tie on you, even if I'm not going for the armbar, I've kind of just started to form the habit of grabbing behind the tricep, ripping the arm, pinching my neck and shoulder together, and just trying to rip down on this armbar for a couple reasons. One, yes, you might get lucky and get the armbar, but two, it's gonna stop this guy from reaching behind your head all the time, which now starts kind of getting into the head. So if you're doing this in a sport perspective, anytime somebody reaches for the head and you just go for this and they rip their arm back, now they're gonna get to the point where they're never gonna reach. So now they're kind of in this awkward place, because as they start posting, you're gonna start ripping and looking to attack, but anytime they start reaching for that head again, I'm ripping for that arm. So it kind of messes with them mentally, in the sense of it just kind of prevents them from playing their typical game, which is good for you as a competitor and again in the sport aspect of jiu-jitsu. If we're looking strictly to locking the armbar and you're really committed to hitting the armbar, this is a 3 armbar sequence that I like to hit from here. So the first one, obviously, again, is once they reach for this collar tie. And first thing I'm going to do is simply just take my ear and try and pinch it to my shoulder at the same time that I shrug my shoulders a little bit. And this isn't going to do too much, but it does make it a little bit more difficult for him to be able to pull that hand out a bit, which gives me an opportunity to now gable grip behind the elbow, by the tricep, and you kind of have to roll the arm over a little bit. So the bottom arm is actually going to scoop behind the tricep, gable grip on top. And again, with this pinch, I'm going to start driving my fist down to my chest. And again, you can usually get a good locked armbar from here. And again, if you catch this person off guard, a lot of times they're going to start trying to pull that arm back. And as they pull that arm back, when I have it fully extended and locked, you're actually putting the pressure on the armbar very quickly. So again, this can go from a 0 to 100 armbar instantly, which again is a lot of times going to get this guy to tap, or if anything, you're going to injure the shoulder and elbow a little bit to where again they're going to be hesitant to utilize that arm in the first place. If when you're in this position, like let's just say I've locked it in, he's tried pulling this arm straight back and I'm just able to get it here, however I just don't have the leverage to actually finish the armbar. This is where part 2 of the sequence comes into play. So as I maintain this grip, and I have to maintain this grip the whole time, and a lot of times if you're not looking to put the pressure on right away, I can switch from the gable grip and a little bit just kind of like hold down the arm to kind of keep it in place here as I move into stage 2. So stage 2 is this. I'm going to open my guard, the outside foot. Usually at this point, I'm just going to kind of post on the floor. My inside leg, I'm actually going to shift and get it posted on their opposite hip. So now as I push off their hip and I push off the mat, I'm going to shift my hips out a little bit. I'm not looking to make a big motion. I'm literally just kind of to shift my hips a little bit. So now that my bottom foot is going across his chest, my back leg is now actually going to come up and behind the shoulder blade, not across the back here, not way down here, but I want to just simply pinch it behind the shoulder. So now I have my knees pretty much in sync here, and as I start pinching, now I'm locking his shoulder down in place. So now there's nothing underneath his elbow. So now as I start pinching with my head, pinching with my knees, and driving the hands down, now you can easily get a good armbar finish from in this position. So this is kind of like the stage 2 of the armbar. So again, go back to like the stage 1, he collar ties, I lock it in, maybe I get the tap, maybe I don't. So I start shifting out a little bit, get up here in stage 2, and now we put on the pressure and we go ahead and we get the finish from there. So now you're in stage 2. Now let's just assume that for whatever reason you lost the armbar, maybe he starts turning his thumb up so you lose control of the elbow, that's fine. We're now going to start looking to enter into stage 3, and again, you want to maintain control of this arm as much as possible. So as you do this, pretty much we're going to start bellying down, and as I start bellying down, I want to make sure that at least the hand that's over the top starts actually hooking this arm as I come through, so that I can essentially just hug the arm to my stomach and chest. The leg that's behind his head is actually going to come straight down to the point where my knee and shin are just pushing up against the side of his face and the back of the head, looking to just create enough pressure that his body wants to naturally roll over to relieve the pressure. Now, my other leg is going to pretty much stay underneath his stomach, but I'm going to start lifting with that leg as I start pushing out with my other leg. Now, yes, you could technically stay here, pinch your legs, hip into it, and try and finish the downward elbow from here, or downward armbar from here. But again, if you had already lost it, I would just recommend you continue rolling. So pressure down on the head. As I start rolling now, I'm going to start lifting with my leg under his stomach to get him to continue rolling. If for whatever reason you're not able to do this or he's still trying to fight, you can also grab the leg. If this was in the gi, you could go grab the pants. But I'm going to grab the leg, start lifting, and just continue rolling him all the way over to get back on top. Now from here, again, ideally to finish it, the outside leg that was behind the head needs to come over the top, and we can get the armbar finish from there. So again, you got the person in your guard, they're fighting, grabbing their head, you're playing your typical guard game. The moment that they reach for this collar tie, pinch and lock on. And again, this is like a rip for the arm. So if you get the armbar, if you break the arm, it doesn't matter, you're playing for winning. So put on the pressure. If they tap right away, beautiful. But otherwise, if they start defending this and you're really committed to it, lock this down, keep this nice and tight, and right away we start entering stage 2 where we get into this position. Again, leg behind the shoulder, leg across the chest, pinching your thighs together, and now you're using this to get a little bit more pressure on the arm. For whatever reason, you still can't finish, so we immediately go belly down, start rolling through, bring the leg over the top, and we finish at stage 3. Now, one thing I will add, especially if you are a competitor, when you are entering stage 3, understand that as you roll, a lot of times this guy immediately is going to look to start coming up and trying to pretty much pressure into you. And again, it's going to be your ability to get this leg over quickly. So one thing that I will do is as we're rolling, I will actually overcommit to the roll knowing that he's going to sit up. And as soon as he starts coming up, I take that outside leg, bring it over, and I'm actually going to just drive this leg right across his face just to put a little bit more pressure on it so that he stays down. And then again, from here, I rip on the arm and get the armbar finish. So there you have it. That's my 3-stage armbar finish that I like to hit from guard position. All starts with them the moment that they go for the collar tie. So look to hit it right away. If not, go into stage 2. If that doesn't work, you fall into stage 3. But if you're really committed to getting an armbar, you have 3 different ways that you can do it, all within one motion. Give it a shot.